How about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Welcome into the Red Out Podcast, the longest running podcast following WKU athletics. Please like and subscribe for more episodes, and I hope you enjoy this clip from the show. Go Tops. So, first week, as we were talking about, first week of football, we have the Purple Bears of Central Arkansas. So, I guess we'll just kind of take it round table. Ross, what are you thinking for the, what do we have to look for with pregame for the Central Arkansas game?
Can you first tell me how you get a purple bear, Devin?
You choke it. You just choke it till it turns purple. Or you wait for it to have a mild heart attack because of diabetes. But
so I think really when it gets...
I love this in the dead air. Ross is like, I went from a joke. Like,
I don't know how to respond to that.
okay.
So back to your original question, because I love that joke that you had. We did a couple times this offseason. But, I think, it all comes down to the transition to Tyson Helton's offense. We know, like we've known for a while, the defense is pretty much the same, minus a couple position coaches. But Clayton White's scheme, I just look for that unit to be more experienced, minus linebacker. But we got some good news that we can talk about later yesterday. But I want to see how Steven Duncan does the quarterback. I want to see if Tyson Helton's going to be Brom-like and work with the trick plays, and if we can come out there and execute. I know I had that piece earlier this week about the top five or the top coaching debuts of the last 50 years, and the themes like the Petrino and Brom, the people who came in first, they came out firing on all cylinders. I'd love to see if Helton can do that, or if there's going to be a learning curve against a decently tough FCS opponent. So
I know a lot of people are buying into Central Arkansas being tough and all that, and that's fine. But I think there are some other issues we have to look at. Internal issues, like you were talking about with the coaching staff, having the new guys in new positions. Granted, we've got some of these guys at linebacker and other positions who may still have some experience. But on the offensive side of the board, the only guys that really know these coaches are the upperclassmen. Jared, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, the offense is definitely going to be the biggest thing. I'm not totally expecting a blowout just for the fact that, going back to the whole Miami versus Florida game, just being the first game of the year, there's always going to be a whole lot of sloppiness regardless. We're going to be starting a freshman kicker, so that's going to be interesting as well. Seeing how the special teams looks. I know that was not one of Sanford's strengths when he was here, was having strong special teams, but hopefully that'll change under Helton. And also, defense, that's definitely going to be where I think Western's bread and butter is this year. I think they're going to be a really strong defensive team. I want to see how they look against a team like Central Arkansas. Hopefully they'll be able to kind of shut them down pretty easily. But, of course, you're still going to have some slip-ups every now and then, possibly because of the offense. You never really know. It'll be interesting to see if he does any trick plays, Coach Helton. I think he might. I hope that it turns out well if he does, because if it doesn't, then, usually whenever there's a trick play that doesn't end well, everyone's like, oh, what in the world was he thinking kind of thing. I don't really want people to start doubting him, right off the bat, even though, it's the first game of the year, but, you know how fickle this fan base is, so we'll see.
Jake, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know, because I think we should be scared, because according to some people that we talked to, these Purple Bears are the second coming of the 86 Bears, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Because, love you, buddy, because I don't care if they have Arkansas transfers. I don't care if their quarterbacks are supposed to be good. I don't care. You got to handle your business. Okay, I know that we come out and play sloppy. I know it's a new offense. I know all of these things. We have a third more scholarships in this team, twice the budget. This is the kind of game. This sets the tone for the season. Okay, you come out in this game and you look like dog crap, and you win by, like I said, the spread when it came out was 8.5. I don't know what it's moved to right now. You come out and you squeak buying this, right, and you look bad, then I think you got squeak. I think you got some issues. You got a tone issue on the team that you're going to have a problem with, and you got a tone issue with the program because, like Jared just said, you got a fickle fan base, right? That's part of it. I'm one of those fickle people. I judge very quickly. I did it with the last regime. I was like, oh crap, this first game, we look like garbage. What's going on? But that being said, I don't think this team comes out and struggles against an FCS team. I think they do get a good, convincing win out of it, and I do think, as everybody said, it rests a lot on the defense shutting them down. Particularly, I'm excited about, again, we can talk about the linebackers in a second, about some of the additions there. But honest to God, like, all Stephen Duncan has to do is complete a little more than half his passes, right, and not throw picks, and you're talking about a decent team. So I honestly, like, in this game, I'm looking for just don't turn the ball over and defense, shut them down.
The only thing I kind of have to debate, one with Jake and one with Jared. Jake, the real thing I have, I know you say we have a higher budget and everything, but that didn't help us against Maine last year.
You're right, and that was an absolute disgrace that set the tone for the season.
Yes, it did. And the only thing I have for Jared, my question is, I know my issue is with the defense from last year, because the defense last year was the, quote, bend but don't break, but that thing bent like a paperclip every year, and so so it kind of, every game I should say. And
it got better as the season went along, and like the theme with the rest of the team, you returned a bunch of production. A lot of the freshmen and sophomores that were really talented that Sanford recruited, the D'Angelo Moans, the Juwan Jones, on offense, the Josh Samuels and stuff like that are going to be, juniors now. And now let's see them take the step forward. They've shown flashes. That's why I'm optimistic about this team. I think, you've taken your lumps the last 2 years with some inexperience. Now let's grow as a team.
Yeah, I think there is possibility there. Let's see here what I'm looking for.
Well, I think that, getting on to that, I am hopeful and confident in this team. I think that I'm going to need a little bit of help getting to confident in this season. And we can kind of talk about towards the end of the podcast, what that looks like from an expectations, what's successful, what's not successful from each of us. You're absolutely right. They need to be taking steps forward, and that's why I believe this game is so important. Is because, again, though it's the first game of the season, this is the first where the rubber meets
the road.
The road. This is the first actual test. Yeah, right.
Sorry, you're kind of cutting in and out. That's why I just stepped in.
Okay.
The only real concern I have, though, you're talking about the defense. At least every game, the opposing team scored 15 points at least. And that
that's modern college football. There's not a lot of shutouts nowadays. So,
well, tell that to Alabama, but yeah.
You're using the outlier top 2 program to justify your position. Come on.
Yeah, but you got Alabama, you got Clemson. Those are the big dogs. Yeah, but they do shut people out.
Yes,
but
shutouts are the outlier. That Florida has a good defense. They still gave up 14. 14 is 21 points. I'd agree. 14 is not a. If Western gives up 14 points a game this season, I think we're in really good shape.
With the kind of offenses in the Conference USA, especially, I would definitely echo that. But I have a good question for you guys. This is something we can talk about just really briefly. Is what do you expect the attendance to be for tomorrow's game for Hilton's debut?
Well, it is a blackout, is what I've heard. So I think it'll be pretty good. I don't think it'll be anything great. What did we average last year? Let me see if I can find
It was not very pretty.
No.
Well, the last game totally skewed it, but. Jared, my prediction is going to be 16K. Being a Thursday night in Central Arkansas, I think that'll hold the numbers down a little bit.
I'll say 15-5 because last year
higher than me. I was going to say 13 and some change.
I was thinking 12 to 14-ish range.
See, the reason I said 15 was because our opening last year against Maine was 15-7. So that's why I just said 15-5. I don't expect us to have a huge crowd. I honestly was expecting Jake to be like 3. But
I'll be there.
yeah, I was gonna say
I'll be there.
that'll be Ross, Jake, and Jared. So yeah, there we go.
Matt. And Matt.
And Matt will be there at the Hank Wilson party tent. So, what do you? Okay, I don't really want to do this, but I'll do it anyway. What are your predictions for the game thus far? For the score, where are we looking at on score?
Who are you starting with? I'll go. I guess.
Okay, let's just start. Let's say win-loss, and what do you think your points are? Jake, what do you got?
I got them winning 34-10.
Jared.
36-17 win
And,
Western.
Ross, what do you got?
41-28.
Wow. Okay. I will say I'll say 34-28. It's going to be close, but I don't know. We'll have to see as far as that goes. And I'll be excited to watch tomorrow to see how Stephen Duncan comes out.
And here's a hot take really quick. The WKU Connection tweeted out that Western's going to hang 80 on UCA, so I just wanted to share that.
Okay. First off,
I'm gonna tell you guys what. If they come out and hang 80 on them, like if they score 80 points, I don't know what I'll do. I might black out. Like I'm not gonna be able to go to work on Friday.
It is a blackout game, so that's probably a good thing, maybe.
so
Yeah, that's right.
the only time I ever saw somebody hang 80 up was wasn't that Elson? Didn't he hang up 80 against what was that?
Like West Virginia A&M or something?
Yes, it was West Virginia Tech. That's who that was. Yeah, that was
Oh my God.
yes, he
Do
hung
they even
up.
have scholarships?
I don't know.
NAIA, baby.
They're in the same conference as Campbellsville because I had a buddy.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I had a buddy who was who went to Campbellsville, and he said he watched the film, and he thought they were going to be awesome against them, and they got beat by 50 points. So I was like, "Whoa, dude!" But
Wow.
yeah, that was scoring on defense, scoring on offense. That was kickoffs
Literally
and punt
the-
returns.
The,
I mean,
the water boy scoring, I guess. Like what?
that was like playing your little brother at Madden, which
Or like playing me at Madden still. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's.
I mean, what was the most points Brom ever scored as a coach?
Ooh.
WKU team, like
Good
68 or 67 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, the Marshall game was 67. But I want to say there was maybe one other game where he got really close to that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, let's
I'll look
see.
it up and see if we can find out before the end of the show.
The only 2015. The good one I've got is 58. Sorry,
66 against Old Dominion, 2014, 67 against Marshall. Let's see.
Yeah, I got 60.
Sorry.
Yeah, I got 60 against Marshall and 16.
Video game numbers, it's insane.
I know that's.
This, wasn't the 2016 game like 60-3 or something? It was the worst loss they'd ever suffered in the Joan, and it made me so happy.
You talking about the 2014
Same.
game?
No, the
2016 game against. I remember they ran back that opening kickoff and it was.
Yeah,
over.
that was 60-6.
60-6,
That's a crazy game though.
That
And
makes me
58, 59. God, I missed Brom's offense. I hope Helton can just give us like 65% of the Brom offense, and I'm happy.
If he can give 65% of the raw offense, you're talking about a pretty decent team. That's with being a we keep talking about the defense and how it was a thin break. And, we did have some. They got better as the season went along, and you do lose some pieces, you put some new pieces in. But man, hopeful for the team. Show me with the season.
Yeah, give me 35
Yeah,
points a
football.
game. I mean, that was the most disheartening thing about the Stanford era was the fact that they struggled to score 25 on a given night. Like, if we want to have a good offense that scores 35 points a game, we're going to finish 8-4 or something like that. So, I mean,
For sure.
I don't think we'll be that good. But if we can break 30 points a game, I think we can go 6, 7, and 5. So
my biggest takeaway for this, and my hope for this season, you all want to talk about how great Brom was, and that's fine. but I think it was important to notice the balance of the run game with the passing game. If you
he
look,
had good run offenses.
if you check out just pull up the schedules on ESPN and check the 2015, and I think the lowest rushing was 56, and
that was the game after Wales was hurt and after Leon Allen's career ended. So he had Furby as a freshman. He didn't know what the heck he was doing.
Well, 56 was Allen. And
okay.
The 193 was the top, and that was Wales. But, I mean, that's my big takeaway, because if you go to, like, 17 or 18 with Sanford, I mean, you're looking at the lowest I see right here is 29 rushing yards, and the highest was 101. So, it's just like I keep preaching. You've got to have a good run game to balance out your passing game. You know, they've got to bite on something, and if they're just expecting you to pass the entire time, then they're just going to sit on their heels and wait and try and run backwards. I mean, there's no sense in it.
Here's where Matt's piece about the offensive line comes in crucial.
Yes.
I mean, like he said in the piece, it improved. I mean, they had nowhere to go but up last season, but it still was pretty mediocre by end-of-season standards. Josh Samuel was averaging about 70 to 100 yards a game the last half of the season. You hope the offensive line continues to gel. He keeps doing that, and then they take pressure off the passing game, and it all clicks, like Devin's saying.
And that's, I know Matt's kind of giving the rest of us grief because some of us said that the offensive line sucked, but the thing is with the offensive line, those guys may have had issues last year because they were younger and a little less experienced. Now they're coming into their own, and now they're going to have a little more experience coming into this year. And, I mean, it's all looking up as far as I'm concerned with the offensive line.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Impose your will against an FCS defense tomorrow. That'd be a really good sign.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
if you could blow them off the blocks, that would be excellent.
It's just like wrestling your little brother. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just hold them down.
Other football news.
Yes.
Just spit in their face.
Yes. Well, speaking of other football news, big exciting announcement. Mr. Hunter, isn't that Jaden Hunter? Isn't that correct?
Yeah. Correct.
He's going to be eligible. So big exciting stuff. Now is he right away eligible, or is he going to have to?
Yeah, he's right away eligible.
Yeah, he's right away eligible.
He has 3 years to play. If he blows up, I wouldn't be surprised if he transfers again. But we're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
So Western's linebacking core is really interesting to me. They've got 4 transfers and 1 converted safety that are going to pretty much man the 2 deep. So I mean, you've got obviously Hunter, who's the most talented, but then you've got the Louisville transfer, Malik Staples, 2 FCS transfers, and Clay Davis and Damon Lowe, and then Kyle Bailey I listened to the press conference on Monday. They raved about him, so I'd imagine he gets one of the spots, Hunter gets the spot, and then the best out of those remaining 3 between Staples, Davis, and Lowe get the last spot on the linebacking core.
Yeah, and that was, I think, the biggest frustration for me when we got the news that Ben Holt was transferring, was losing that big experienced guy right there to Purdue. But with Jaden Hunter coming in, I mean, he's SEC, but it's kind of like Andrew Jackson said. They're supposed to be SEC, but we'll see how he plays.
Yeah.
We'll just go from there.
So much.
That was very entertaining to be firsthand experiencing. But so I mean, talking about Central Arkansas, it's kind of getting me going into the rest of the season. As far as the rest of the season's concerned, what are you all thinking? There is a piece on the Towel Rack where a bunch of us guys sit down and discussed our predictions. Jared, you said 5-7. Do you want to kind of defend your position?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's a very realistic opinion and kind of prediction to have for this year. I mean, you have your first-year head coach. I mean, obviously Helton did an awesome job when he was the offensive coordinator within Western system under Braum. It's going to be interesting to see how he does as his own guy. I think that's definitely going to be a major thing for them. I think it'll help the offense more than anything, especially with Stephen Duncan being a guy that was recruited by him, like already kind of maybe knowing what his strengths and weaknesses are, kind of being able to get him implemented into that system. And, I mean, just holistically, looking at the schedule, too, I mean, there's so many games that could be a toss-up that, depending on how fast the offense can click and just how strong this team is really going to be early on, is going to really what depends on a lot of things, like the neutral game at Louisville, against Louisville, of course, like even at Arkansas. I mean, there's still a lot of different variables that aren't completely in their controls. But, I mean, I think that 5-7 is realistic, and if the offense can get going really soon, I think it could be 6-6 and be bowl eligible, which I think that would be a good thing to happen.
I completely agree. And if they are bowl eligible the first year, I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, same.
Jared and I shared our same view as far as that goes with the 5-7 pick. Now Matt, he's not here to defend himself, so I can
so we can pick on him.
So we can pick on him a little bit. He's saying 7-5, and I know Matt likes to drink Kool-Aid a lot, but there's some of these wins that I just don't know would be possible in the first year. Louisville is a dumpster fire right now, and it could be a toss-up game, but I don't know if Western can get it. Western could get definitely, I think, could get an ODU, could get a Charlotte. Marshall, I'm pretty up in the air on Marshall right now. And I think they could get a win against USM or MTSU. But we'll just have to see as far as that goes. But like Jared said, I'd said 5-7 as well. So come at me, bro. Whatever you got. Ross, you said 6-6. What are your views? Which games do you think that Jared and I may have missed that you thought should be wins in your opinion?
I know a lot of you guys are having us losing to UAB. I think we got that comes 2 weeks after the Louisville game. I think they lost. I think 30 seniors last year. So they're a huge question mark, and going on the road and Western playing at home with 2 weeks to prepare. I think that's a game that I don't know if everybody is just assuming UAB is going to be the same team that won Conference USA last year, but I think we have a really good shot in that. FAU would be another one that I know a lot of you guys put as a loss, but that's another one that's at home. And they lost both of their all-conference running backs last year. And I know the lane train and all the drama that comes with it, but without that two-headed monster, in their backfield, I think we've really got a shot against them because we're pretty even talent-wise after that. So that's two. And, the way I described it in the article was I think Western will win some games they're not supposed to, and they'll also lose some games they're not supposed to. So, Charlotte could be a toss-up game. Charlotte's, got a young, hungry coach. They're kind of experienced as well. Who knows what you're getting there? ODU on the road, that should be a win. But, that's really the second true road game for Western. Maybe they're coming down after UAB and aren't ready for that. There's just so much variables without knowing the coaching staff and who's going to take the step forward this year. So I think there's the talent and the experience returning, and that's why I kind of just am pegging on a 6-6 season, being pretty optimistic. I think most fans would be happy with that.
All right. I completely agree with that. I think that, as Matt wrote in the piece, not to give it away, you should read the entire article on the Tower X website. But there were plays and there were times when we were a few points away from being 7-5 last year, which is a mind-boggling thing as the disaster we had. But let's go to the half-empty guy, Jake. What you're saying 4-8, and you've got us beating Central Arkansas, ODU, Charlotte, and MTSU. What makes you think that we have no chance against anybody else?
I like how you frame that. That makes me happy.
You're welcome.
So, first, I think that the basement is 4 wins, just like I said last year. And I think that if you go out and you get 4 wins, you're not happy, but you're not mad. You're just like, okay, we did that.
That's improvement.
It is. It's
exactly.
one.
It's improvement, and that's what you look for. Full stop on the first year. As far as not giving us a chance to win other games, I think that it's what a lot of you guys have said, is that last year they had essentially the ball bounced the wrong way, right? a few plays here and there, and you're talking about a totally different season.
I think
I
literally
think
bouncing the wrong way was the right way, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, seriously. In fact, I feel like there was a play in the Louisville game that was like that. When me and you were, or maybe it was Ball State. I can't remember. I think it was Ball State. Me and you were watching on the couch. And we're like, "Oh God, no! What's happening?"
Yeah.
Because the punt went the wrong way, which shouldn't be a problem this year. But we'll see. Super excited about our punter, but because he's like
Crikey.
74 years old. It's gonna be awesome.
74.
No, I think so.
First off, we
50
do have
days.
listeners in Australia. We are completely supportive of this 24-year-old semi-pro kicker, so we love it. And
like that's legit. I'm giving him grief for being old, but like, yes.
oh my
please
gosh,
make
I'm
punting
super excited
not
about it.
But no, the reason I say 4-8 is because I think that's a realistic expectation going into a brand new offense, a team that had question marks up and down the roster last year, incredible inconsistency at the quarterback position, and a defense that we said like was bend not break, but again did bend an awful lot last year. And I know they all got better towards the end of the season. I know that everything was trending up, but you're gonna have to show me before I'm gonna believe this is anything other than a marginal improvement on a team that severely struggled last year.
I agree, and we talked about on the podcast that we thought 4-8 was going to be the basement, and we missed that by one game. But man, Sanford definitely proved us wrong. I'll say that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that was. There
was a well in the basement that we didn't see.
Yes, completely agree.
Yeah, just open like sewer, just right in there.
I think it was like one of those hostile basements where there was another layer underneath it where there was really a lot of sadness in there. Yeah.
Puts the lotion on the skin.
Don't hurt my dog.
Can you like Photoshop that meme with like Sanford's face?
That would be the greatest thing ever. Oh, I'll have to look into that tomorrow. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes. And as always, go Tops.